first of all, we just want to say thank you again for joining us on the show. We really appreciate
We
it.
appreciate it.
And what is the name of your band?
Old Southern Moonshine Revival.
And what is your name?
I'm Marcus.
Very nice to meet you, Marcus.
Where are you from?
We're from High Point, actually.
Really?
Nice.
All originally from High Point, yeah.
Wow, that's
Wow.
awesome.
That is awesome. How long have you guys been in the band?
This project started about 7 years ago. So from its conception, now we've been touring full time for the last 2.5 years.
Oh,
Okay.
that's great.
Yeah.
And what type of music do you guys play?
It's country and country rock.
Cool, very cool.
What were some of your influences when you were growing up?
Influences. I grew up with a background, my dad sang a lot of Southern gospel music, which was great, but I knew that wasn't going to be, you know, what I wanted to do musically. And then, you know, all of our influences range very diverse. We all like Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And, you know, but then we all might like Katy Perry too. So it is what it is. You know?
Okay.
That's
So
great.
it's just really diverse, pretty much.
Very, very diverse.
Okay. When did you guys kind of start playing your instruments? Like, when did you start getting interested in music?
I started late. I started after college, which I say late. There's a lot of guys that get started when they're kids.
Yeah.
Our guitar player Brent, he started when he was probably 14 or 15, and then our bass player Jamie started when he was maybe younger than that. So I mean, all of us range different areas, but for me it was like 22. Something like that.
Talk to us more about how music's had a real impact on your life.
Well, it's just, to me, it's a constant thing. It's just like a soundtrack. You know, people say the soundtrack of your life, but you recognize, and especially with your memory, there's certain senses that will bring back certain feelings or emotions, whatever. Music's been that for me. Like if I hear a song, I can remember where I was or what time of year it was and that kind of thing. So it's kind of that extra color for me. Other people, you know, they may say something different, but that's the best I got.
When did you guys have your first show?
When was our first show? February of 2007, if you want to call it a show.
Where did you guys play?
Actually, we played where we're playing this Saturday night, which is at Blue Bourbon Jack's in High Point.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. Be sure to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, should check that out for sure. Now, how do you come up with some of the lyrics that you guys write? There's a lot of different secrets. It could be something that you read, Okay.
and you think, oh man, what kind of direction does that thought take? And it could be something that you say, or you hear somebody else say, and I'm constantly listening to other people's conversations going on, because people say the craziest things, and then as a writer you take what they said and you don't, because you're not involved in their life, but you take what they said and you try to imagine what they're talking about. Sometimes it's way off base. Sometimes it's from another song. You hear a lyric and you go, oh, man, but what if the song was built around this one lyric that was really or inconsequential to the song that you heard it in?
So it's like you take a thought and then you put an image.
That's how I do it.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just a melody that comes, and then you start trying to find words that will fit with that melody, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. I love sitting down with other people, though, and hearing them come up with something and letting me jump into their mind a little bit, because that's always better. They're gonna say something you're not.
Right.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
That if you're sitting down with somebody whose brain is works exact same way as yours, and you're writing with yourself anyway. I love to hear what other people say. Sometimes you dominate it because your thoughts so strong on it. But other times you just sit back and bounce and let them dominate the right, and you hope to get a word in there, you know.
Yeah. How did you come up with the name Old Southern Moonshine Revival?
Man, I've been thinking a really good story. There's not one. Unfortunately, I was going to say, you know, I was at a tent revival or something one night and got arrested in the parking lot of it for having moonshine, and we'll just go with that. You know.
That's good.
Yeah.
For sure.
What has been the biggest venue you guys have played at yet?
I've been an outdoor venue, probably. Played a couple outdoor venues that were 10, 12,000 people, something like that. That one of them was with Florida Georgia Line.
What?
Nice.
Up in Illinois, in this nowhere town that has this one festival every year. It's like, you know, kind of like a fair, sort of. But this was in the time when those guys were really starting to blow up. And so we met them early on when they were playing the same venues that we were playing, and we kind of rode that wave up with them. It was pretty fun to see, and now they're just massive. But another one down in Georgia, ironically, it was a very big, like a four-wheeling type of big, huge field, and it was massive amounts of people, and they've been there all weekend, kind of like a
Like
kinda
a
like
music festival kind of thing.
sort of Bonnaroo for four-wheelers. But they did have music. We played that one with Colt Ford, and it was, I think that's about 12,000.
Wow.
It was the
Awesome.
big one. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, is it hard sometimes balancing your family life and your music life?
Depends on if you are asking me or my wife or our wives.
I guess.
Yeah, everything you do is hard. We balance everything you do. It doesn't matter what the job is. Now, with what we do being gone a lot, that's tough, because I think the biggest thing that you can have trouble with the balance is when you're on the road, you're working basically a third shift job.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, sound check at 3, and then, you know, dinner will be at 5, which dinner is, you know, kind of sometimes the first meal of the day. And then you'll do the show, and you get through with the show, and at the end of the night, you know, by the time the trailer doors and you're getting back on the bus, it's sometimes 3 and 4 in the morning. So, and then when you come home on Sunday or, you know, Monday, you're back to first shift.
Yeah.
And there's no transition, so that can be tough, you know.
Yeah.
You're walking like a zombie for a few days, and then you go back to the third shift. So.
How do you deal with that personally? Like, I mean, that just sounds so difficult.
Day by day, you kind of get used to being on the road, and you're always used to being at home, and it's just sometimes it's harder. It depends on the run too. If it's an easy run, then you know, you actually do get some sleep, and that's the tough part is when you play a show on Thursday and you get 3 hours sleep. You play a show on Friday and you get 3 hours sleep. Play a show on Saturday and you get 3 hours sleep. So that's, you know, 9 hours between 3 days, and then you come home. So that Monday or that Sunday when you get home, it's just like, oh man.
Yeah.
You try to catch up as much as you can. So.
I'd be drinking a lot of that Red Bull if I were you.
Red Bull. Yeah, that's. I noticed that you hear all these guys, and we're not a band like this, but you can see where the exhaustion starts to set in, where guys do start using, like, I'm not saying, you know, street drugs, but I'm saying like sleeping pills to go to sleep, stuff like that. I've been lucky that I don't need a lot of sleep because I'm ADD. So even when I sleep, sometimes I'm waking up. So, you know,
Yeah.
just keep going.
Wow.
What advice would you give to younger fans and whoever is looking up and trying to break into the music industry?
Don't do it to get rich, because it's not gonna happen that way. I mean, I'm not saying you can't, because I know guys that are, but I don't think that was ever their intention. Anything with something with the arts, you need to do it for that reason, for the love of music, or if it's painting or whatever it is, just do it for that. Don't try to feel like you're gonna get rich off of it, because number one, you're not even approaching it from the right standpoint, and number two, you're gonna be let down more times than not. So being in Nashville, you see all these people who are more talented than the people that you know. See what I'm saying? Like the people that are out there who are talented people, but there's 1,000 blonde, good-looking singers that can do what Carrie Underwood does, and nobody knows who they are. Not taking away from Carrie, because she's great, but there's so many people out there.
So much
It's
competition.
very competitive. So you gotta really want. But today's society is a little bit different than it used to be. You had to go out and tour for people to hear what you're doing. And now with the internet, I mean, if we released a song today, it goes out to the world basically. Now that doesn't mean the whole world's going to see it. It just means it's there for them. The opportunity's there, which is great. But getting rich, don't go for that reason, because that's just probably not going to happen.
Now, how rewarding is your job?
I think anytime that you can say that you do what you love to do, and that's your job, that's the biggest reward.
Absolutely.
For me.
Absolutely.
And for a lot of people, it could be anything. I wanted to play basketball when I was a kid, but I'm not very tall, so that was not going to happen. But some people it is sports, some people it's be a CPA and love what you do. That's great. I mean, just be driven with it. That's the big thing. Is whatever you're doing, be driven with it. Be passionate about it.
That's awesome.
Pretty nice.
Yeah. Well, we certainly loved having you, and
No problem.
Thank you so much for responding to our Facebook messages.
No problem.
To do this.
Y'all come Saturday night, man.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, man, no problem. Seriously, y'all come Saturday, it'd be fun.